All right, guys, reminder, this is just exactly what you learned in class. I'm just going to go everything over again real quickly. Reminder, first part is how do you identify an exponential function? And if you notice that the x's go by ones, but the y values go times 5 times 5, that means that the y's are being multiplied by 5. Your value is times 5 every time. So the growth factor would be 5. So it would be something like y equals 5 to the x power, because remember, that's the growth factor. Here, instead of saying divided by 10, we could either say times 1/10 or times 1/10 as in 0.1. And either way, that would be the growth factor. So y equals 1/10 to the x power, or y equals 0.1 to the x power. And that's how you identify an exponential form. Next part that we did today in class was we talked about the parts of an exponential. Remember that if it's y equals a, b to the x power plus c, the a stands for the y-intercept, and the b is the growth factor, and c is the asymptote. So if you had an equation like y equals 3 times 4 to the x power, that would be a graph that crosses the y-axis at 3 and goes up. And because there's no plus c over here, we assume it to be 0. So it's going to go up and then be asymptote to 0, meaning not go forever towards 0 without getting to it. Same thing goes for here. If it's y equals 9 times 1/2 to the x power, that would mean the y-intercept was 9. So make a little graph right here. So I go up to 9. And that's going to be my y-intercept, and it's the growth factor is 1/2, which means the y value is going to be going down divided by 2 each time. So it's going to go straight down, and because there's no c right here, it's asymptote to 0, which means it levels off and goes forever towards 0 without ever getting to 0. All right. Next couple, we worked on in class on how to graph them. Remember that you could just use this as the y-intercept, and that would be the fraction. I'm not going to go through these again, but I'll go through a couple of the other side. This one was one that we talked about in class. When there is an asymptote that's not 0, this one it's -4, you actually have to solve. You can't consider this 2 to be the y-intercept. All right? So what you're going to do is you're going to solve for the y-intercept, meaning you're going to make x 0 and solve it out until you get -2. And therefore, you know the y-intercept is at -2, but it's going to go towards the -4 without ever getting to the -4. Here is a little bit of a different problem because it does not have a c. So you can consider the 5 to be the y-intercept. So I went up to 5, drew a point, and then it's going to go down, and it's asymptote to 0. Last problem we had, I'm going to do on the other page.